Peace, peace, peace. Uh, Throwing a little impromptu presentation out there. Nothing too complex. Just have some patience. Let me share the show and get this going. We'll be in and out as quick as possible. What's up, brother Chavis? Let me share the show. Real quick. We'll get it in. Like I said, nothing too complex, nothing too major. Just a little quick, brief presentation that I put together on conspiracy theorists, the mentality of. So just give me a second. Let me finish sharing the show. We'll get right into it. Cause I ain't gonna hold y'all. And y'all ain't gonna hold me. But yeah, man, I know we're dealing with a time right now where conspiracy theories are running rampant. And you know, some people might think that conspiracy theories are harmless. But you know, it is cases where they are harmless. But there's also cases where they can be dangerous. Especially in the time that we're living in right now, the climate that we're in right now. You know, conspiracy theories could be very dangerous. Okay. Okay. What up, bro? Peace.
What's good, bro? What's good?
And man, I'm finna get right on into it. Whoever don't make it, we'll have to catch it in the archives because I gotta make a run. So I just wanted to drop this real quick while I'm in the mood.
Yeah, I seen that one you snuck out. I've been busy, and I don't know if you seen my comments in our little hangout with the situation with my kid's mother. So I've been kind of busy, but I've been trying to keep up with what's going on in this world as well. I liked the video though. That one about the issue that we was talking about. Well, I seen discussed in the chats. So
Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about that.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, man. The presentation is called "Immunity to Evidence: The Psychology of Conspiracy Theories." So we're gonna dig into the thought pattern and the thought process of some of these conspiracy theories. Go ahead and get into it. What is a conspiracy theorist? Conspiracy theories are as old as time, but it's only in more recent years that psychologists have begun to unravel the belief that some people have in them. According to researcher Goertzel, conspiracy theories are explanations that refer to hidden groups working in secret to achieve sinister motives and objectives. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, my bad. I got a text. All right, whether it's the killing of a U.S. president like Kennedy or a mass shooting involving seemingly normal older white adult males, speaking on the Las Vegas incident or the Charlie Hebdo murders, conspiracy theories are never far behind. Even climate change has a conspiracy theory attached to it. The US government, of course, is to blame naturally. All right, what are the reasons that people believe in conspiracy theories? Right? One obvious reason for the current raised profile of this kind of thinking is that the US president is a vocal conspiracy theorist. Donald Trump has suggested, among other things, that the father of Senator Ted Cruz of Texas helped assassinate President John F. Kennedy, and that Democrats funded the same migrant caravan traveling from Honduras to the U.S. that worried the Pittsburgh synagogue shooter. But there are other factors at play too. New research suggests that events happening worldwide are nurturing underlying emotions that make people more willing to believe in conspiracies. Experiments have revealed that feelings of anxiety make people feel more conspiratorially, or make people think more conspiratorially, excuse me. Such feelings, along with the sense of disenfranchisement, currently grip many Americans, according to surveys. Now, I'm pretty sure us as Black people are familiar with those type of feelings. So let's keep going. Low agreeability refers to a trait of agreeableness, which psychologists define as how much an individual is dependable, kind, cooperative. Someone with low agreeability is an individual who is usually not very dependable, kind, or cooperative. Machiavellianism refers to a personality trait where a person is so focused on their own interests that they will manipulate, deceive, and exploit others to achieve their goals. Lantian continues, in terms of cognitive processes, people with stronger conspiracy beliefs are more likely to overestimate the likelihood of co-occurring events, to attribute to attribute intentionality where it is unlikely to exist, and to have lower levels of analytic thinking. Hold on, I'm gonna run that back. In terms of cognitive processes, people with stronger conspiracy beliefs are more likely to overestimate the likelihood of co-occurring events, to attribute intentionality where it is unlikely to exist, and to have lower levels of analytic thinking. So these people are more likely to try to place intentions behind random series of events, and they have lower levels of analytic thinking. Analytic thinking is a process that is very important to the mind of conspiracy theorists. All right, let's keep going. If all evidence for a theory is based on conspiracist cognition, it is likely a conspiracy theory that ought to be dismissed rather than a true conspiracy. And that's Stephen Landowski from the University of Bristol. New research suggests that events happening worldwide are nurturing underlying emotions that make people more willing to believe conspiracy theories. Experiments have revealed that feelings of anxiety make people think more conspiratorially. Such feelings, along with a sense of disenfranchisement, currently grip many Americans, according to surveys. In such situations, a conspiracy theory can provide comfort by identifying a convenient scapegoat and thereby making the world seem more straightforward and controllable. These people want to be able to control the narrative or control the events of the world, or place intentions behind certain events that happen that may just come from randomness. people can assume that if these bad guys weren't there, then everything would be fine, Landowski says. Whereas if you don't believe in a conspiracy theory, then you just have to say terrible things happen randomly. Understand the thinking, the processes? Are you getting? Top 5 conspiracy theories about COVID-19. I just threw this in there. Okay, let's go with the first one. A forced vaccination will inject nanochips. All right, it sounds a little wacky. Bill Gates wants to introduce mandatory vaccinations to control the world. All right, well, is Bill Gates in the position to do that type of thing? Oh, let's keep going. COVID-19 might be an act of Anglo-Saxon revenge. Okay, but this is affecting everybody, not just people who aren't Anglo-Saxons. A Canadian report indicts the U.S. for spreading the coronavirus. So Canada is saying the U.S. is spreading it. All right, well, I mean, I'm not sure that's how pathogens work. I'm pretty sure anybody can spread them. COVID-19 epidemic is manufactured by the media. Okay, well, I mean, people are dying, so it's not just a media thing, it's a real thing. All right. None of this should be surprising because once you start to analyze a situation with demonstrable facts, it usually and quite thoroughly will break down the conspiracy theory into its component parts, none which make sense standing on their own. So when you break these conspiracy theories down into component parts, they don't make no sense at all on their own by themselves. For example, with zero evidence, conspiracy theories need to invent a reason for a second shooter in Las Vegas to match what they see as facts. This is talking about the Vegas shooting incident. But once a person starts inventing a narrative out of thin air, you can see very little critical thinking occurring. So they basically just pulling stuff out their ass. Pardon my French. Discerning facts from fiction can be difficult. However, some seemingly wild conspiracy ideas turn out to be true. So some conspiracy theories are true. All right. The once scoffed at notion that Russian nationals meddled in the 2016 presidential election is now supported by a slew of guilty pleas, evidence-based indictments, and U.S. intelligence agency conclusions. So, how is one to know what to believe? There too, psychologists have been at work and have uncovered strategies that can help people distinguish plausible theories from those that are almost certainly fake. Strategies that seem to become more important by the day. We'll get into those. We'll get into those a little later. Check this video out. It's only a couple of minutes, but it is interesting.
Fact is sphere, but actually a flat disk. You'd probably point to photographs like these, of Earth from space. And then I'd say, hey, if you want to trust the space agencies to tell you the truth, go ahead. But if you ask me, they're part of a conspiracy to lie to you. And then you'd say, what about the fact that if you fly in one direction long enough, you end up in the same place? Ha! That's just what the Illuminati wants you to think. That's why they control the flight pattern, to make you think you're going in a straight line when you're actually flying in a circle. This is Argument, a series about spotting bad arguments on the internet, where today we're talking about conspiracy theories. There's one out there for everybody. The JFK assassination, the fake moon land, the Freemasons, chemtrails, CIA mind control, rigged election, Area 51. Once you get going, it's easy to see secret plots everywhere you look. In all of
Hold on. Man, hold on, bro. So why y'all ain't telling me I want to share on the damn screen? Man, I've been going this long.
My bad, bro. All I see is the StreamYard. What you streaming from?
I'm streaming from StreamYard. Hold on.
I mean, like, what are you streaming? What are you streaming to? YouTube, Facebook?
Now we on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, I just been sitting on the stream yard. I didn't even think about pulling nothing up.
Alright, okay. I'm on sharing the screen. Okay, let me go back. Alright, man. So I guess I'm gonna start. Guess I'm gonna start over. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, okay. So let me go back. Start at the beginning. What a conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theories are as old as time, but only in more recent years have psychologists begun to unravel the belief that some people have in them. According to the researcher Goertzel, conspiracy theories are explanations that refer to hidden groups working in secret to achieve sinister objectives. Whether it is the killing of U.S. president, mass shooting involving seemingly normal older white adult male, or the Charlie Hebdo murders, conspiracy theories are never far behind. Even climate changes even climate change has had a conspiracy theory attached to it. The U.S. government is to blame naturally. Right? One of the obvious reasons for the current raised profile of this kind of thinking is that the U.S. president is a vocal conspiracy theorist. Donald Trump has suggested, among other things, that the father of Senator Ted Cruz of Texas helped assassinate President John F. Kennedy, and that Democrats funded the same migration caravan traveling from Honduras to the U.S. that worried the Pittsburgh synagogue shooter. But there are other factors at play too. New research suggests that events happening worldwide are nurturing underlying emotions that make people more willing to believe in conspiracies. Experiments have revealed that feelings of anxiety make people think more conspiratorially. Such feelings, along with a sense of disenfranchisement, currently grip many Americans, according to surveys. Nah, nah, I wasn't trying to get no. Nah, I wasn't about to strike. I forgot to shut the show, man. I'm rushing. That's is my fault. Low agreeability refers to a trait of agreeableness, which psychologists define as how much an individual is dependable, kind, and cooperative. Someone with low agreeability is an individual who is usually not very dependable, kind, or cooperative. Machiavellianism refers to a personality trait where a person is so focused on their own interests they will manipulate, deceive, and exploit others to achieve their own goals. Lantanian continues. In terms of cognitive processes, people with stronger conspiracy beliefs are more likely to overestimate the likelihood of co-occurring events, to attribute intentionality. I keep stumbling over that word, intentionality, where it is unlikely to exist. and to have lower levels of analytic thinking. Analytic thinking is an important process. If all evidence for a theory is based on conspiracist cognition, it is likely a conspiracy theory ought to be dismissed rather than a true conspiracy. Stephen Landowski. New research suggests that events happening worldwide are nurturing underlying emotions that make people more willing to believe in conspiracies. Experiments have revealed that feelings of anxiety make people think more conspiratorially. Such feelings, along with a sense of disenfranchisement, currently grip many Americans, according to surveys. In such situations, a conspiracy theory can provide comfort by identifying a convenient scapegoat and thereby making the world seem more straightforward and controllable. So always pay attention for the scapegoat concept. People can assume that if these bad guys weren't there, then everything would be fine, Landowski says. Whereas if you don't believe in a conspiracy theory, then you just have to say terrible things happen randomly. And sometimes they do. We know that, right? Again, these are the top conspiracy theories about COVID 19. A forced vaccination will inject nanochips. Bill Gates wants to introduce mandatory vaccinations to control the world. COVID 19 might be an act of Anglo Saxon revenge. A Canadian report indicts the U.S. for spreading the coronavirus. COVID 19 is manufactured by the media. All don't make no sense, right? So, none of this should be surprising because once you start to analyze a situation with demonstrable facts, it's usually and quite thoroughly it usually and quite thoroughly will break down the conspiracy theory into component parts, none which make sense standing on their own. For example, with zero evidence, conspiracy theorists need to invent a reason for a second shooter in Las Vegas to match what they see as facts. But once a person starts inventing a narrative out of thin air, you can see very little critical thinking occur. Discerning facts from fiction can be difficult, however, and some seemingly wild conspiracy ideas turn out to be true. The once scoffed at notion that Russian nationals meddled in the 2016 presidential election is now supported by a slew of guilty pleas, evidence based indictments, and U.S. intelligence agency conclusions. So, how is one to know what to believe? There, too, psychologists have been at work and have uncovered strategies that can help people distinguish plausible theories from those that are almost certainly fake. Strategies that seem to become more important by the day. And we will get into some of those strategies later in the presentation. Let's try this again.
What if I were to tell you that the world is not in fact a sphere, but actually a flat disk? You'd probably point to photographs like these of Earth from space. And then I'd say, hey, if you want to trust the space agencies to tell you the truth, go ahead. But if you ask me, they're part of a conspiracy to lie to you. And you'd say, what about the fact that if you fly in one direction long enough, you end up in the same place? Ha! That's just what the Illuminati wants you to think. That's why they control the flight pattern, to make you think you're going in a straight line when you're actually flying in a circle. This is Argument, a series about spotting bad arguments on the internet, where today we're talking about conspiracy theories. There's one out there for everybody. The JFK assassination, the fake moon land, the Freemasons, chemtrails, CIA mind control, rigged election, Area 51. Once you get going, it's easy to see secret plots and shadowy cabals everywhere you look. In all of these cases, people can point to evidence disputing some of these claims. The photos of Neil Armstrong on the moon, the Warren Commission report, the studies that keep showing that vaccines work. To which you will inevitably hear, you think the people who faked the moon landing couldn't gin up a couple of phony photos? Wake up, sheeple! And there's the problem. Any evidence that would seem to contradict the conspiracy is further proof of the conspiracy. It cannot be disproven, or to use a term from science, it is not falsifiable. A hypothesis is falsifiable if you could imagine a way to prove it wrong through observation. So let's say I've only ever seen white swans, and so I assume that all swans are white. This is a falsifiable claim, because if I were ever to see a black swan, it would be disproven. Pretty simple, really. Philosopher Karl Popper came up with the idea to falsify a 1934 treatise, Logic der Forschung. He was German. He was trying to figure out why Albert Einstein's theory of relativity felt more rigorous than, say, Karl Marx's theory of history, or Sigmund Freud's theories of psychoanalysis. Marx's and Freud's followers pointed out that those theories could explain pretty much anything that ever happened. Open the newspaper, you could interpret almost every story through the lens of Marx's ideas. As for Freud, you could explain just about every action someone took as a response to their parents, or repression, or sublimation. But to Popper, this wasn't a feature of these theories, but a bug. These theories had explanatory power, but no predictive power. Einstein, on the other hand, made specific predictions about, for instance, how light travels. Predictions that, if disproven, would invalidate his entire theory. Popper said that's what separated science from pseudoscience. As he wrote, every good scientific theory is a prohibition. It forbids certain things to happen. The more a theory forbids, the better it is. It sounds strange, but good scientists and technologists actually spend a lot of time trying to disprove their theories, not prove them. Astro Teller, who runs X, Alphabet's fanciful moonshot division that builds self-driving cars and Wi-Fi delivering hot air balloons, says he rewards engineers who prove that ideas won't work. That's it. That's the secret. Run at all the hardest parts of the problem first. Get excited and cheer. Hey, how are we going to kill our project today? Maybe you've spotted the sticky part. The logical endpoint of falsifiability is that nobody can ever completely prove anything. You can never know if someone will someday discover something that invalidates everything you thought was true. Like if you're Isaac Newton, who totally locked down the laws of physics until quantum mechanics showed he was mostly wrong. But that doesn't mean what the cousin you muted on Facebook thinks it means. Calling evolution just a theory doesn't mean it's wrong or a guess. A theory has a structure that allows for dispositive evidence. It could potentially be proven wrong someday if new evidence refutes it. So far, evolution has withstood every challenge, which has only made the theory more powerful. Falsifiability doesn't weaken the theory of evolution, it strengthens it. And the opposite is also true. If a theory is not falsifiable, it's not worth debating. Remember that. The next time your cousin wants to argue that lizard aliens beneath the White House run international banking, that's probably just the chemistry.
Alright, cool little video. Cool little video. Hope everybody took something from it. In May 2018, the American Psychiatric Association released the results of a national survey suggesting 39% of Americans feel more anxious than they did a year ago, primarily about health, safety, finances, politics, and relationships. Another 2017 report found that 63% of Americans are extremely worried about the future of the nation, and that 59% consider this the lowest point in U.S. history that they can remember. Really? These feelings span the political spectrum. A 2018 Pew Research Center survey found that the majority of both Democrats and Republicans feel that their side in politics has been losing in recent years on issues they find important. Such existential crises can promote conspiratorial thinking. In a 2015 study in the Netherlands, researchers split college students into three groups. People in one group were primed to feel powerless. The scientists asked them to recall and write about a time in their lives where they felt they were not in control of the situation they were in. Those in the second group were cued in the opposite direction. They were asked to write about a time when they felt totally in control. And still others in a third group were asked something neutral to describe what they had for dinner last night. Then the researchers asked all groups how they felt about the construction of a new subway line in Amsterdam that had been plagued by problems. It may be possible to, okay, hold on. Yeah, all right. I think I left something out, but it's all right. Deciphering fact from fiction. Okay, we'll get into how to tell fact from fiction. Hold on. I think I might have left out a slide, but it's all good. It may be possible to quell conspiracy ideation, at least to some degree. One long One long-standing question has been whether or not it is a good idea to counter conspiracy theories with logic and evidence. Some older research has pointed to a backfire effect. Remember that backfire effect. The idea that refuting misinformation can just make the individuals dig their heels in deeper. So the backfire effect is if you try to refute information logically with sound logic, critical thinking, and evidence, the the idea is that the person that it's being presented to will ground themselves even deeper into their conspiracy. So they're not only rejecting it, but your refutation is pushing them farther into it. Um, if you think there are powerful forces trying to conspire and cover up things, when you're giving when you're given what you see as a cover story, it only shows you how right you are, right? But more recent research suggests that this putative effect is in fact rare. So the backfire effect does happen, but new research suggests that it is not a common occurrence. I don't know who they've been researching because people I talk to, they love the backfire effect. A 2016 study reported that when researchers refuted a conspiracy theory by pointing out its logical inconsistencies, it became less enchanting to people. And in a paper published online in 2018 in Political Behavior, researchers recruited more than 10,000 people and presented them with corrections to various claims made by political figures. The authors concluded that evidence of factual backfire is far more tenuous than prior research suggests. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. Okay, I apologize. I had a call. Back to it. Let me see, where was I at? Let's just start this whole part over. But more recent research suggests that this putative effect is, in fact, rare. A 2016 study reported that when researchers refuted a conspiracy theory by pointing out its logical inconsistencies, it became less enchanting to people. In a paper published online in 2018 in Political Behavior, researchers recruited more than 10,000 people and presented them with corrections to various claims made by political figures. The authors concluded that evidence of factual backfire is more tenuous than prior research suggests. So that means that the backfire effect was not happening as much as they thought it was. In a recent review, the researchers who first described the backfire effect said that it may arise most often when people are being challenged over ideas that define their worldview or sense of self. Finding ways to counter conspiracy theories without challenging a person's identity may therefore be an effective strategy. So, about that, I'm gonna let Michael Shermer explain a little more to you. This is Start Talk, a podcast which I am subscribed to. If you are into science, I suggest you subscribe to.
God, that's not a good analogy, no. Is it? Yeah, okay. All right. So anyway, let's go with Robert Kernel, who says, to assist in the depth of conspiracy theories, is it better to confront them or ignore them? Has there been any research on whether confronting these theories makes it more likely people will believe them because of belief reinforcement?
Oh, that's my bad.
Or does confronting them give them credibility and help them spread? Wow, Robert, I'm going to say that's a damn good question. All right, Michael, what do you got?
Yeah, it is kind of the question of the day. Well, they're going to spread anyway, whether you ignore them or not. In the modern age, everybody's their own publisher with their own YouTube channel and so on. So that's not a great strategy. On the other hand, you're not required to respond to everybody. I mean, we ignored the flat earthers for a long time because, you know, the head of it died back in '96 or whatever, and that was the end of that. He was the last member. But then it kind of erupted, as you know, Neil, a couple of years ago, and kind of went viral. So then we thought, all right, I guess we need to have an issue of skeptic on how we know the earth is not flat. And, you know, how does science work anyway? And we kind of used it as an excuse to talk about that. But, you know, if you ask the average person, how do you know the earth is round? How do you know it goes around the sun and so forth? A lot of people can't articulate that. So we thought, well, we'll just use that as an excuse, something like that. We also kind of depends on the influence that the claim has. The conspiracy theory is people talking about it. Do they care about it? Do we need to provide some kind of response to the media and the public? And so that also depends. So in terms of free speech, you know, people should be free to say what they want, but I'm not required to enable their speech. So, you know, occasionally creationists or Holocaust deniers have tried to place ads in Skeptic. I don't take them. But that's not I'm not censoring them. They're free to publish their own newsletters and magazines and produce their own docs or whatever. But so that's a different kind of thing there. I hope that answers the question.
Well, you are censoring them in your own mouthpiece.
That's right. Well, in a way, though, I have to be selective. We can't talk about everything. So I pick the ones that I think are most important. Just like college campuses, you know, they invite maybe 12 public speakers to come to campus. Yeah, all right, but there's 1,000 to choose from. So in a way, that's a kind of a censorship, I suppose, that you discriminate. But they're free to do whatever they want.
All right, so did you? I don't know. I don't think you answered the question. Should you directly engage a conspiracy theorist on the hope or expectation that you will change their mind?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. So there was this idea a few years ago, so-called backfire effect. That is, by addressing a particular claim and explaining why it's wrong, like climate denial, you'll actually just the people will double down on their beliefs.
Dig in their heels.
Yeah, dig in their heels. Now, the studies on that have not been replicated. That is to say, it looks like people can change their mind if you present evidence in a particular way. One, in a very visual way, you know, pie charts, bar graphs, things that are easy to understand, not just piles of numbers in a table, but, you know, something that's visual. And two, you present it in a way that doesn't challenge the person's deepest moral beliefs, right? So the number one predictor of climate skepticism is political position. So, but climate skeptics who tend to be conservative, they don't know anything more about climate science than the climate believers, say Democrats or liberals. That is to say, knowledge about climate science does not predict who believes in it or accepts it. So the public expression of your skepticism or belief is more of a signal to your tribe. I'm so conservative, I doubt that climate science business, right? Even if you don't know anything about it. Same thing with evolution, you know. And if you give people, if you give Christians a choice between Darwin and Jesus, they're not picking Darwin. Okay, Darwin is not going to be anybody's savior, right? So you have to take that off the table. Keep your savior, keep Jesus, keep your Christianity. Evolution was the way God created life, or something like this, and then you take that off the table so they don't feel threatened. So those are the two things you can do to get around the backfire effect.
So they're tactics. This is tactical. Yeah.
Strategy. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So trying to refute conspiracy theories without undermining the person's deepest core beliefs or what makes them them. Like if a person believes in God, like you have to meet them where they at. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way that you can avoid the backfire effect. Because if you're trying to refute conspiracy theorists, and say for instance a religious conspiracy theorist, you're not going to be able to get around God with them. So you have to work within that paradigm, or you will have the backfire effect where they will dig their heels deeper into whatever conspiracy that they're already in. So we gotta take that into consideration. Me myself too. I'm not leaving myself out. I have to do a better job at presenting my argument to conspiracy theorists. All right. Encouraging analytic thinking may also help. In a 2014 study published in Cognition, Swami and his colleagues recruited 112 people for an experiment. First, they had everyone fill out a questionnaire that evaluated how strongly they believe in various conspiracy theories. A few weeks later, the subjects came back in, and the researchers split them up into two groups. One group completed a task that included unscrambling words in a sentence containing words such as analyze and rational, which primed them to think more analytically. The second group completed a neutral task. Then the researchers re-administered the conspiracy theory test to the two groups. Although the groups had been no different in terms of conspiratorial thinking at the beginning of the experiment, the subjects who had been incited to think analytically became less conspiratorial. Thus, by giving people the tools and skills to analyze data and to look at data critically and objectively, we may be able to suppress conspiratorial thinking, Swami says. So that's another thing we have to do, especially us that have these platforms that claim to be literate in science and history and research and proper research methods. All that is cool, but we need to teach these people more about analyzing data, thinking critically, being able to discern what's fact from fiction, so they can do it on their own. You know what I'm saying? Well, the whole point of this slide is the more analytically that you think, the less susceptible you will be to conspiracy theories. So we got to get to the point where we are teaching analytic thinking. We are teaching you how to look. We need to focus on putting people in a particular paradigm and taking them out of the conspiratorial paradigm, right? Okay, so let's keep going. Analytic thinking can also help discern implausible theories from ones that, crazy as they might sound, are supported by evidence. Karen Murphy, an educational psychologist at Pennsylvania State University, suggests that individuals who want to improve their analytic thinking skills should ask three key questions when interpreting conspiracy claims. One, what is your evidence? Powerful. What is your evidence? What evidence do you have? Are you pulling this out your ass? Where are you getting this from? What is your source for that evidence? Where are you getting this from? That matters. What is the reasoning that links your evidence back to your claim? So you have to make that connection, even though you have evidence and you have this claim. You have to link them together. That's methodology. Sources of evidence need to be accurate, credible, and relevant. For instance, you shouldn't take advice from your mom whether that yellow color under your fingernails is a bad sign. Murphy says that kind of information should come from someone who has expertise on the topic, such as a physician. You gotta think, man. Common sense holds no weight in science. So don't try to use your common sense. The more that it manifests the following characteristics, the less probable that a theory is grounded in reality. Proof of conspiracy. Number one, proof of conspiracy supposedly emerges from a pattern of connecting the dots between the events that need not be casually connected. So, like, you're forcing connections. No evidence When no evidence supports these connections except the allegations of conspiracy, or when the evidence fits equally well to other casual connections or to randomness, the conspiracy theory is likely to be false. Number two, the agents behind the pattern of the conspiracy would need nearly superhuman powers to pull it off. People are usually not nearly so powerful as we think they are. You're giving people too much credit. The conspiracy is complex, and its successful completion demands a large number of elements. Right? All right, let's go to number four. Similarly, the conspiracy involves large numbers of people who all need to keep silent about their secrets. They go to those secrets again. The more people involved, the less realistic it becomes. Number five, the conspiracy encompasses a grand ambition for control over a nation, economy, or political system. If it suggests world domination, the theory is even less likely to be true. We done heard all these world domination conspiracy theories. Those are the top ones, right? The conspiracy theories ratchets up from small events that might be true to much larger, less probable events. Let me read that over again. The conspiracy theory ratchets up from small events that might be true to much larger, less probable events. So you're taking a small event that might be true, and you're trying to link it to uh, a bigger conspiracy. Like, for example, the how China is not being as transparent as we would like, right? But just because A is true does not necessarily mean B is true. Just because A is true, China is not being as transparent, doesn't mean that B is true. That it's a conspiracy with the coronavirus and COVID-19, right? Okay. The conspiracy theory assigns pernicious, sinister meanings to what are most likely innocuous, insignificant events. Number eight, the theory tends to commingle facts and speculations without distinguishing between the two and without assigning degrees of probability or factuality. The probability is also big with conspiracy theories. We need to do better with uh, working on our prediction of probability. All right, number nine. Excuse me. The theorist is indiscriminately suspicious of all government agencies or private groups. We're familiar with this, right? Which suggests an inability to nuance differences between true and false conspiracies. And the last one, the conspiracy theorists refuse to consider alternative explanations, rejecting all disconfirming evidence and blatantly seeking only confirmatory evidence to support what he or she has priorly determined to be true. It's a typo. So that rejecting all evidence that supports the fact that a conspiracy theory might not be true, and accepting only the facts that may lend to the conspiracy theories. This is confirmation bias. The fact that politicians sometimes lie or that corporations occasionally cheat does not mean that every event is the result of a tortuous conspiracy. Most of the time, stuff just happens, and our brain connect the dots into meaningful patterns. So just because China is maybe not being so honest about what's going on with them in relation to the COVID spread, right? Doesn't mean that it's a conspiracy behind COVID-19. You know, just because A is true does not mean B is true. Are conspiracy theories dangerous? This kind of information suppression is dangerous, really, really dangerous. Dr. Brookie says, referring to Chinese and American efforts to downplay the threat of the outbreak. It has nourished not just individual conspiracies, but a wider sense that official sources and data cannot be trusted, and a growing belief that people must find the truth on their own. A cacophony arises from armchair epidemiologists who often win attention through sensational claims, is at times crowding out legitimate experts whose answers are rarely as tidy or emotionally reassuring. So, you know, sometimes the answer that you get might not make you feel good, but either you want feel good information or you want factual information. Make a choice. They promise easy cures like avoiding telecommunications or eating bananas. They wave off the burdens of social they wave off the burdens of social isolation as unnecessary. Sell sham treatments of their own. Now, of course, we're familiar with that as well. Medical conspiracy theories and the power. Medical medical conspiracy theories have the power to increase distrust in medical authorities, which can impact people's willingness to protect themselves. Daniel Jolly and Pia Lamberti, scholars of psychology, wrote in a recent article. Such claims have been shown to make people less likely to take vaccinations or antibiotics and more likely to seek medical advice from their friends and family instead of from doctors. Belief in one conspiracy also lends to increased belief in others. The consequences, experts warn, could not only worsen the pandemic but outlive it. It cannot. Hold on. Let me run that back because that's crazy. Belief in one conspiracy theory also lends to increased belief in others. The consequences, experts warn, could not only worsen the pandemic but outlive the pandemic. Wow. Medical conspiracies have been a growing problem for years. So has distrust of authority, a major driver of the world's slide into fringe populism. Now, as the world enters an economic crisis with little modern precedent that may deepen, right? The wave of coronavirus conspiracies, Dr. Jolly and Dr. Lamberti wrote, has the potential to be just as dangerous for societies as the outbreak itself. Why? Why? These are my resources. Those are my sources. Why could the conspiracy theories be just as dangerous as the outbreak itself? Okay, let's look at vaccines. The conspiracies around that. We're doing fine right now because we have herd immunity. But the more conspiracy theories pop up behind vaccinations, the more people move away from vaccinations, the more our herd immunity breaks down. Now, with herd immunity, we are protecting even the people that are not being vaccinated. We protecting you, right? So the more we move away from vaccinations, the more our herd immunity breaks down, and we can't protect y'all no more because we can barely protect ourselves. This is dangerous. These conspiracy theories are dangerous. Some of them are. I won't say all. Some of them are just stupid. But yes, some of them are very dangerous. You got something to say, boss?
Um, yeah, but I've been waiting for you to get everything out.
Yeah, I'm done. You
Just
go ahead.
more or less just build with you and just bring different ways to overall look at this whole subject matter. Um, Throughout the show, I've wanted to ask one particular question. And each slide, and good job, by the way, as far as putting this together. I don't know if you've been working on this or if you just did it off the fly,
I
but if
just
you
kind of
just,
do it on the fly.
yeah, if you just did this off the fly, good job putting this stuff together. Many salutes on that. Let me start by there. But
Appreciate
honestly, I don't have any kind of problems with the word conspiracy theory because I look at it on its political and legal senses more than what I think people are conflating it towards in our time and era. And I would say a lot of people get trapped in urban legends and myths and folklore. And due to the time and era we live in, they're superimposing conspiracy theory on top of urban legends and beliefs. And the more you try to undo one of these urban legends or quote unquote conspiracy, it makes the urban legend grow, not the conspiracy itself, because the conspiracy is the plan. You get where I'm going? If me and you were born in 1820, this was 1820, and all we've done so far as putting bodies of literature together were actual letters to me and you at Versailles and Sutek on a way to liberate ourselves out of chattel bondage. We would get, I don't know if it was applied in the 1820s, but once if we were sadly busted in the law, they would say we have letters to prove they had a conspiracy to break away. You get where I'm going? They plotted this, they conspired on it. So I don't have a problem with the conspiracy part, but I think what we do really want to attack is the urban legends that come from it and how those urban legends hold us back. How do you feel towards that idea of this?
Well, I'll say this, like you said,
Because I think they've all become so superimposed on top of each other. And you mentioned the ultimate one in our lifetime. I think it's being replaced by 9/11. But I do think in the Americas, the JFK conspiracy to murder him, the secret could have been plans,
right,
have created an urban legend around conspiracy theory itself, to where that one particular conspiracy theory has totally changed the way we view it. So now we superimpose urban legend and conspiracy, and we have a whole new monster we have to deal with. Hence why they say don't feed into that. That's just conspiracy talk. But really, what they really want to say is that's an urban legend, that's a myth. But now, with the media and the culture, urban legends have been superimposed to be horror tales. Now, your urban legends is, 9 times out of 10, if any of them still exist, they kind of horrific tales. Um, if you get where I'm going. The
right,
last urban legend I remember that affected the black community was hang up the telephone when you're talking during rainstorms because you're gonna get shocked. You know what I mean? Or turn the lights off when it's raining because you're gonna make the electric bill go up. Those are
right.
urban legends. Those aren't necessary conspiracies. You get where I'm going? So I think we having a hard problem separating the two, and we create these urban legends to be bigger products of society's thoughts versus the actual facts behind the stories we're trying to dismantle or whatever agendas we're trying to push forward. So, that's just how I was looking at it coming into this presentation from the gate. And a lot of what, was said, kind of made me think that even more. So I just wanted to see how you felt towards that. Because I'm with you on what you was doing. I 100% love the presentation. That's just something that's on my mind, is that urban legend part. Are we actually attacking urban legends and not necessarily a conspiracy? Because conspiracy, no matter what we say, is still a plan, that secret plan. And if that's the case, how can we argue conspiracies don't exist, and it creates wiggle room for this stuff to be even more confusing? You get where I'm going? So
Right, and then that's why I listed things to try to help discern a plausible conspiracy theories. Because, like I said, some conspiracy theories are plausible. Like I mentioned the Russian intervention in the 2016 election. Like
hmm
that was a conspiracy theory, but that turned out to be true. So there are
yeah,
plausible conspiracy theories, and there are just conspiracy theories that are just wacky. Like we have to first follow the experts, then follow the evidence. Um, where are we getting this evidence from? And we have to try to connect the evidence to the claim. So if we can do all that, I have no problem with saying a conspiracy theory is plausible because we know that stuff happens. We know that everybody ain't
hmm
trustworthy, and we know sometimes it is secrets and stuff. But to say stuff like vaccines are going to be used to implant nanochips and like all right that some of that stuff is just whack, you know what I mean,
yeah,
and
yeah,
there's
yeah.
no evidence to it. So those are more conspiracy theories that I'm dealing with, like but yeah, urban legends, I get what you're saying, but those are just like you say, legends.
Yeah,
These conspiracy
yeah,
theories, like they may be true. They may be true, but they have to be put together in a methodical way. You have to have evidence. You have to be getting your evidence
hmm
from a legitimate source, and you have to make it work for you. So that's all. That's the only thing we got to do. We have to start being better with our method. Like
right.
the average person isn't a researcher, but they'll talk to you like they know things or like they know specific topics as if they are a researcher. But
hmm
we have to.
And you see why I chose more than ever to, place that word in there. They become urban legends, for lack of better terms. You get what I mean? Because I can't think of every word to describe that currently in the realm of psychology. But overall, on the cultural analysis, just overview, I really think that's what we're seeing is these urban legends and not the conspiracies themselves. But people, like you said, don't research and they don't want to go that extra mile to get to the finish line. So, we have that issue. Because you can, that conspiracy word can be tossed out instantly in ways that we don't even think it, and then it just grows into a urban legend that just that quick. If let's just use Trump for example, I don't want to use any real particular story, but let's just say he's doing a good job as a president, but on the back end we don't know he's getting arrested for something. He gets arrested, and in the courtroom, he yells out, "There's a conspiracy to take me down. They making secret plans and secret plots." Well, that's going to make everybody investigate what those secret plans and secret plots are. And whether they find truth or they don't find truth, either way, it creates an urban legend around it at that point. Because now everybody's going to be talking about that aspect. And he may have created a conspiracy, quote unquote, theory as a scapegoat to get out of his punishment. You get where I'm going? So it creates these weird dynamics in an overall ordeal. And I'm glad you threw this out because it makes good conversation, like always. But I personally, I really think we are having a hard problem with realizing, even though we live in 2020, mankind hasn't had enough time to change his ways from 1920 and 1820 as far as our thinking on a day-to-day basis as individuals. We haven't changed as much as people want to think. Technology has changed, but people's day-to-day interactions with one another, that really hasn't changed too much. And once upon a time, all this would have just been urban legends, would have been the way of classifying it, not the conspiracy theories. But because we live in America and we do get to, have access to so many political stories and all of these ordeals, The
Right, because you said
political
we have
use, yeah. What I mean by that is, we can see if a judge gets arrested, and we can hear, certain court cases, and we'll hear certain words. There was a conspiracy, there was a plot, there was a conspiracy. So we pick up these words, but a lot of us don't ever sit back and study what words mean. You get where I'm going? Not everybody is a wordsmith. Not everybody cares to even know what these words actually mean that they're saying.
Right. Yeah,
You get where I'm going? So we may be using things. I mean, how many times have we seen people use words in the wrong contents and we have to call them out, or ourselves get called out for it? Like, yeah, I understand what you're trying to say, but you're saying it wrong.
right.
You get where I'm going? So I think that's a big part of this conversation that not too many are speaking on is what I wanted to bring to attention. Not necessarily defend conspiracy theories, not to shift it and say no, we need to attack urban legends. I'm just saying there's another element of this overall conversation that I don't really see too many people speak on. So I just wanted to toss it out there with you and see how you thought. Just support as well. You know how I rock.
Yeah, I
So
feel you. Yeah, that's right. That's a good point. That's a good point, man. Um, yeah, like you said, we in the age of information. It's a blessing and it's a curse at the same
mhm,
time. Like, it just depends on how you use it. I think that Star Talk clip that I showed with Neil deGrasse
mhm,
Tyson, they are
mhm,
talking. They was talking about starting to try to uh, formulate a browser that kind of filters out misinformation.
yeah,
Neil calls it a BS filter.
mhm,
So yeah, man, I think that'll be good. I don't know how it would work, but I think
yeah. I mean,
it's very influential.
that's that bittersweet misery of that ideology of freedom. Because the first thing they're going to do is say you're suppressing my right to free speech, right? If you created that. But your free speech should not give you the entitlement to mislead people, especially in regards of health, making spiritual decisions, even economic decisions for that matter. Your free speech should not have the right to affect the livelihood of someone else. And when you start talking about education and proper information, all those elements go into it. But the moment you do that, guess what? They're going to say there's a conspiracy out there to take away our privileges and our rights. So now you right back at ground zero. You get where I'm going? So it's a never ending cycle that we're dealing with. And a lot of the times it's because most people just want to be heard. If they can just be heard, they gonna jump in and not have a clue what they talking about. Just to be heard, because now, as we know, celebrity is king. Entertainment is king. No one is saying become educators because that's the best economic and the highest saluted position anyone can take. But educators are really what makes this world go round. Not money, not women, not men. It's the people who provide the information for us to be able to make decisions and live. But the moment that educators say this is the right way to do something based off all the evidence, guess what happens? Conspiracies and urban legends and, separation and ignorance surface his nasty little face again. And then it's people like Sutek throw sharp ass spears in there and knock them down.
Yeah,
But yeah,
man.
good job. Good job,
Always
bro.
appreciate it, bro. It's always gonna be those people that want to go against
The
science. They
green.
want to go
Yeah,
against
yeah.
the norm. You know what I mean? It's always gonna be those people. So what's gonna happen is what's gonna happen. I mean, Google ain't
Right.
going. Well, they'll still be able to Google and biasly search up whatever they trying to look up. You know what I mean? But I think that
Hmm.
search engine that filters out misinformation and illegitimate sites and sources, I think that'll be awesome, man. Especially for us researchers that actually care to
Yeah,
get to the correct information.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and then that, there's just, and we have words for that already in play, and that's what's so crazy about it. We got two words at the tip of the tongue. I want to see if the audience would know it, but I don't want to, waste nobody's time. But you got legitimate and illegitimate information. So mankind itself is already aware of this. We've already presented ideas to how to combat this, but we have to understand one thing in it. Mankind is going to be mankind. You get where I'm going?
Yeah,
And I'm
right.
saying that to say, everybody be wise with the battles you pick. Because one thing that's not a conspiracy about this year 2020, if this virus hasn't taught us anything, it is teaching us that, yeah, at any given moment our clocks can be up from things that we was never thinking about, never was aware of. So, as much as we try to present this information and do the good things in our hearts and our minds, also remember to take the time to enjoy some of y'all's lives and don't get too stressed out and too bottled up and worried behind this stuff either. I think I seen Sean jump in here, so I'm gonna yield the floor.
Finally, Lee, I thought I was gonna have to goddamn interrupt. What's good, y'all? How y'all doing?
Hey, what up, bro?
Man, chilling,
What's
dog.
good,
Chilling.
bro?
What's good, boss? Hey, real quick, I just wanted to slide my 2 cents in real quick. A lot of conspiracy theory sites. Can y'all hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So a lot of conspiracy theory sites and advertisements is paid for by the people who's trying to control the message. So it's big business for search engines and social media sites because the Kennedys and all of those big name anti-vaxxers, they're paying for advertisement. They're paying to misinform people on or misrepresenting vaccinations or miseducating people. They're paying for that. Even with the push that Facebook had initially, that's why Facebook changed their whole game plan. Because
Mm-hmm.
remember, you could pay for the ads and it'll just send ads all the way through. But now that the people was paying for the ads was misinformation, scientists came out and started doing it. Facebook took a U-turn and started doing a fact check on bad information. So now they start blocking the pseudoscience regarding the virus and things of that nature because that information could get people killed. See, people think it's a game when we sit here and say, you're going to get somebody killed. Bruh,
Mm-hmm.
dude went outside thinking that the dang on virus was a hoax, man, went to a party, got sick and died. I got a homeboy right now on a ventilator at Vanderbilt Hospital, bro. It didn't get worse. His lungs failing. He can't breathe on his own. He can't do nothing. He don't know where he at right now, man. He's slick like comatose. You know what I'm saying? Like slick. Because he can't do nothing on his own.
Man.
The man's so hurt, bruh. He's so hurt that, you know what I'm saying? The update on him is terrible. He ain't seen his kids. His old lady can't see him. The dude mama found out he had coronavirus. She stroked out, so she ain't feeling good.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is reality. And then people like, you gonna take the vaccine? If dude could take a vaccine right now for what he going through, bro, trust and believe he gonna do that. I wish I had my homeboy Meechin on by calling right now because he had COVID and he had to quarantine for 14 days and take 3 tests and pass all 3 before he can go back to work. And the first thing he said was, bro, I was thinking it was a game.
Yep.
He said, bro, I really thought it wasn't that serious till it hit me. And I was home and everybody, he said, I've been in the house by myself. Man, I've been taking all kind of NyQuil, Dayquil, orange juice, can't sleep. As soon as I doze off, I get sharp pains, can't breathe, feeling. He said I wanted it to stop so bad. He said, and it wouldn't stop. It just kept on. He was like, man, I thought I was gonna have to go back to the hospital. All of that stuff. Like people think it's really a game, man. This the misinformation will kill you. People think nature is it loves you so much. Nature is trying to kill you. That's
Yeah.
why we fighting so hard to educate people about vaccines. Is because we know herbs ain't a bad thing. But guess what, y'all? They don't create an immune response to viruses. They don't do that. You don't see the antigens and the antibodies. Think that whole process. That's why I put that video up to show people what's going on. Look at the YouTube video. It's 5 minutes and it gives you the best visual you can get, so you can get a proper understanding of what's in defense. Now, with that being said, you do want some herbs. You do want some herbs for other aspects of your life, but you do need that vaccine. I don't care what you say. You need that. Oh no, I'm just gonna expose myself. I'm gonna get natural immunity. You're gonna be naturally dead. This is a novice virus. Novice, new. We ain't seen it before. That's why so many people dying. That's why you see the American death toll up from the virus. Oh, that's a hoax. Then a death toll a hoax. You know what I'm saying? The virus a hoax. 5G started it. Man, and we the ones peddling it. We the ones peddling it, bruh. And this is all a part of somebody's agenda. You being conspired against. Misinformation is conspiring against your ignorance. It needs you to believe, but we conscious. We conscious though. You know what I'm saying? We supposed to be smarter than everybody. We think all that. Oh no, y'all ain't pro black no more. Y'all pushing that white man stuff.
Hey,
Yeah.
Sean, can I ask you a question? If we could magically go back 20, 30 years ago when the HIV and AIDS epidemic, was heavier, do
Was
you
that a
think we would
conspiracy?
see, yeah, do you think we would see similar behaviors with the, overall
No.
public response
Nope.
towards it?
Nope. I can't even think of what was going on
I
30
don't, I,
years ago.
yeah. And what I mean by that simply was, do you think people was doubting the virus then the same way that they're doubting it
No,
now?
because it was real time. It was real time
Mm,
taking people up off a square. It was picking
yeah,
black folk apart. Think about when it
yeah.
started waving through.
Mm,
The conspiracy then began to be that they gave it to us. That was the
yeah,
conspiracy.
yeah.
That was the conspiracy that we got it and how we got it. You feel me? That was the
Cause you know I'm
conspiracy
going.
part.
Cause you know
Not
me,
that
I'm
it
going.
wasn't. Not that it
Yeah,
wasn't real. It was real, bruh. It was real
yeah.
to them. But the conspiracy was that they gave it to us.
Now you know me. I'm always going somewhere with stuff. I threw that one out there to ask all these people that's anti-vaccine. I know some in my bloodline. They done got themselves hemmed up, got burnt out there messing around doing things they ain't supposed to. They don't hesitate to go get them damn shots afterwards. So how is it that you can do those things in private, knowing that it helps you, but in the public, still pretend to be so foolish? You get where I'm going? And we can do comparisons. I don't want to be petty or ignorant in this comparison, but because of diseases is why so many people use condoms. If you really to wrap up and mask that up, why wouldn't you do that for your lungs and your eyes, your mouth, and other things, and just see it the same way and explain it to your children the same way? I know people who just naturally wear gloves when they washing dishes and cooking food because they don't want germs spreading. Not that they health freaks, but because they know these things just simply help you prevent those things. So when you have people like Sean and the authoritative figures who actually create these remedies for life's problems, why would you go against people that's trying to help you? And if you feel there's a conspiracy there and you really, really believe that, it should be your obligation at that point to create a remedy to combat what you're seeing. But That's where I see the disconnect at. Not no, oh, they trying to kill us with these new, extremely advanced and sophisticated manners, and we just sit back and just say, see, I told you, but you don't do anything to combat it outside of see, I told you. Then you at that point you just asking, you're a sitting duck. But by looking at, what evidence is out here and doing the scientific research and studies and experiments, we ourselves then get the ability to combat these things. So I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't want to get too
I
sidetracked.
understand. I understand it. I understand it. I'm gonna tell you. I'm just gonna keep it straight. Conspiracy theory. The reason why black folk believe in conspiracy theories is the same reason why black folk believe in Jesus. Same one. They gotta have belief. They got. They gotta. And then they misuse things like the Tuskegee experiment, which is a great example of the people having problem with vaccinations. So y'all know you should really know what happened in Tuskegee. They didn't give the people syphilis. They
Yeah.
refused to treat the syphilis. That was the whole problem. They refused treatment. So think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Since y'all said y'all don't want no vaccines or anything like that, the people in the Tuskegee experiment wanted the vaccines because they wanted the protection and the safety. And guess what the American government did? Refused them. And that made things worse for them people. That was
Hmm.
the whole problem. That's the truth of the matter. So, do we want to continue to refuse treatment so things can get worse for us? Or do we want to smarten up and take the right precautions about things and make things happen? I ain't
Right.
gonna keep
And
your
for
show
those
extended, bro.
who,
I'm out on that
yeah,
one. You know what I mean? I gotta finish up some work I gotta do.
Yeah, that was a great point, man. I didn't even know that.
peace,
But yeah,
peace tip.
peace, man. He already
But
hopped off.
to
Go ahead,
Sean's
go ahead.
point about Tuskegee and tied into more recent events for somebody, that makes a great case study to show how viruses and disease and all those things spread and how damaging they can be. And what I was trying to say to Sean before he jumped off is that's one of those cases where you can't, take the Hollywood approach and just watch what happened to particular individuals, i.e., think they was just shooting it up with the man and thinking, that's what happened in Tuskegee. No, go a little bit deeper and find out, okay, who had the infection? What happened in this person's life? How did that affect those around him? If he was married, did it pass over to his wife and to his children? And if it passed over to his wife and his children, did it pass on to those offspring of that particular family? Now you can see how these things spread and how much damage they can really do. And that's just one household. Then you take that and you amplify it to the whole situation, and then you start looking at how these viruses spread. You start looking at what's contagious, and then you start looking at how did they combat it, how did they stop it. Oh, they had a vaccine for it. They had medicines for it. They had ways to combat it. And once they started implementing those processes, what happened next? Now you can look at those families and see if anyone was actually infected by it and if it made a turnaround and now these people can actually function in society as quote unquote healthy beings. You get where I'm going? So that might be a good way for, somebody out there to kind of combat this if they desire to. I just like throwing ideas out to people.
Yeah, man. All those are good points, bro. All those good points. We gotta do better. We gotta do better, man. Especially the black community, especially like Sean said, if we calling ourselves conscious, if we claim to be woke and all that, like we can't we have to be methodical with our approach. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we can't see memes on Facebook and present them as if they're facts. We can't use anecdotal evidence, like because this happened to me or because this happened to this one person, that this is the case. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, we got to do better. We got to do better, man. But yeah, Yeah, man. Spears of the Mossy. Spears of the Mossy is out right now, volume one. If you ain't got your copy, you need to get it. You can get it on Amazon, or if you want to hit one of us up directly, we will directly send you a copy. Spears of the Mossy 2 will be coming soon, very soon, sooner than you think. Like it's literally right around the corner. Um, so if you ain't got volume one yet, you need to get it because you're about to be behind. We're about to drop volume two. So, go to Amazon, order your copy, or if you want to hit one of us up directly, I got fresh copies right here. Order it from Amazon, or you can order it from us direct. Um, what else was I going to say? Yeah, man,
I,
get your copy, and if you already have your copy, go to Amazon, leave a review, leave your honest opinion of what you thought of the book. Wait, Vasa, what you finna say something?
yeah, you know me.
Yeah.
I got my jokes too. Um, I have been busted on a conspiracy theory this week on Spears of the Mossy. And since it's family in here that I see in the chat, if y'all read and y'all own the book, if y'all can find it, and let me know in my inbox since we all family watching right now. If y'all can find it without my aid, and I got to do a presentation on it because I got busted. But if one of y'all find this one particular thing, I can't give no more clues than other than it's in my chapter. And y'all see me talk about one individual more than the other individual a lot recently. That's the only clues I can give. If y'all can find what I'm talking about, I'll make sure whoever finds it and hits me up will get a free volume of part two. I'm just gonna throw that out there because I got busted. But yeah, I'm a conspirator at heart. But I do it for good intentions. I wasn't doing it to secretly
You
mislead.
you're a skeptic. You're a skeptic at heart.
I'm an asshole at heart. Matter of fact, I'm a capital P at heart, thanks to my Uncle Sugar Free.
Oh man. Yeah, man. If y'all ain't catch, that's an inside joke. Zion probably called it. We on my channel, Niger Valley Civilization, which everybody should go subscribe to. Me, Satep, and Vaasa, we've been doing a couple of shows on music. So we did our top five and in hip hop, and we did old school show too, where we pull out old school music from the '60s, '70s, '80s. I think that one YouTube took that one down. I think I got a strike for that one. But
Yeah, we was
next
playing
time
Louis
we'll just
Armstrong.
yeah, next time we won't play the videos. We'll just play the music from the videos. So yeah, man. Everybody go subscribe to Niger Valley Civilization. Matter of fact, let me drop the link.
Hey,
Let me drop the
Sutek,
link.
how's it? While you doing that, how does it sound? How about what was the best hood movie or quote unquote black film during our lifetimes?
Yeah, we can do. You say hood movie?
Yeah, hood movies. You know the ones the hoods watch. Your
Right,
Fridays, Minister Societies, Bad Boys, songs and songs.
right. Yeah, that'll be a good one. That'll be a good one. We can do that. Yeah, everybody. I'm about to drop the link in the chat. Everybody go subscribe because we do get it in over there, man. We talk about a lot of stuff.
I'm kind of rocking with what was his name? Dang, can't even get his name out at the moment. It'll come to me. I know it's Lorenz Tate. I just can't think of his character in this in Dead President. What was his name
Oh,
in
and then
that?
president.
Yeah. Uh,
I thought you were going
dang
to
it.
say. I thought you were going to say Minister Society.
No, but I'm about to compare him to it. I like his character in Dead Presidents way more than Old Dog. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
That's
that's why
that's
that's
why.
what I was where I was getting at with like let's do a comparison on the movies as well one day. I think that'd be dope.
yeah, man. I think matter of fact, I'm glad you mentioned that. I might that might be something I need to rewatch. I need to rewatch Dead Presidents. To get on that today.
Yeah, I like that one way more. I like that one way more than Minister Society. So
Yeah, man. But appreciate everybody for coming through. Like and share the show after it's done. Everybody go subscribe to Niger Valley Civilization. If you ain't subscribed to Kofi Pie TV yet, subscribe. If you ain't subscribed to my Warrior Clan yet, subscribe. And get your copy of Spirits of the Mossy Volume 1 on Amazon or hit us up directly. My name is the same name on Facebook, Sutek Akande Iyanu Olawa. Oh yeah. Chill Talk. Chill Talk is about to start. Yeah, so I need to catch that too. Everybody go watch Chill Talk on. I don't know if he going to his YouTube channel or if he's still on. Okay, he on Facebook. Yeah, on Facebook. It's a like page. Chill Talk. Sean putting it in the chat. So we about to head over there now. I know I'm about to. I don't know about you guys. But yeah, peace everybody, man. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Oh,
peace,
double.
everyone. Great builds.